I don't believe when people say that there aren't enough women who are interested in being investors.
That's our philosophy here at the airport, is to have women at all levels, so they're ready to move up. As they grow in the company, there are women coaching circles and mentoring. We have a diversity inclusion committee.
The world we live in, at least when I was working in Silicon Valley and comparing that to here, it's still a male-dominated world. Let's be brutally honest. So the rules are defined by men. If we're gonna have some changes, we have to have the good men at the table that wanna help us change, and we can't do it alone. But with that, we need to change the definition of what is leadership, what is success.
The system of investing has always been structured in a way that has suited a more aggressive style and people looking for the biggest returns, financial returns, and sometimes not thinking about all the other aspects of returns. You can't just add women to the same system. You have to think about how do you change the system a little bit more to make it more interesting for a more broader and more diverse set of people at the table doing the investments. And then I think you start to see a lot more changes in who gets the money.
The most important consideration really is not just promoting women, but promoting qualified women, because I think it would do everyone a great detriment if there was the ability for somebody to say, hey, that person just got that job because of their gender. They tick a diversity box, but they actually don't have the skill set, capabilities to be there. That aside, there are a couple of things that I think we can really do or that can be done to move the needle in terms of the demographics in the venture capital community. The first is limited partners. Investors in venture funds can request, demand, require that partners promote from within, bring in external partners who do have diversity. They can also put diversity requirements on venture funds.
We used to talk as managers how we thought it would just solve itself, and it didn't. So we said, okay, we have to be deliberate to get to 50% managers. When we go out for senior positions, we oftentimes are using recruiters. And so I just said to them, don't even show up unless you have 50% women. They said, oh, that could be difficult. And I said, well, I don't care if it's difficult. Don't come back unless you have 50-50. And you know what they did? You know, when you have those people to pick from, then you're going to necessarily hire more women. And I think actually asking to have 50% of your candidates be men and 50% women, I think you have a much better chance. If all you see are 4 male candidates for a VP job, it's a foregone conclusion as to what's going to happen.
And I think the more women that you have on an investment team, it changes the culture if you have enough, and then that makes a difference in terms of whether women are interested in being investors.
And the last piece is educating more women to become angel investors. You can start building collectives of women that are comfortable making direct investments into companies, whether those are female-led companies, companies with diverse teams, or male founders, I don't care. But if you enable a culture of women investing in companies directly, you then set up a really great skilled group of people who can then go on to lead venture funds, form their own funds, because they already have the deal flow, the expertise, the perspective.